Right, so this is ready to go in. I've got the template ready to go in, the 3D template, and you've got to cut off 2 locating pegs on this metal item, which is the magnet, and it's got a plastic shroud around the magnet area, so I've shaved those off because of plastic. But on much older models, that's made out of metal, as you can see there, so you've got to angle grind these pegs off so the template will go in, so it'll line up flush when it goes in like that. With the pegs on, it puts it at an angle and it doesn't line up properly. And so that's it. Let's go to the next bit. The next bit, you line up the magnet, and that's got pegs on, locating pegs on the other side of that to locate into the metal chassis. Then that should just drop in. Hopefully. Just turn it around the right way. That'll just line up, as you can see, like that, and then you carefully put the screws in to line it up. And then you've just got to fine tune this motor. Put the cog on as per instructions, put the glue on the inside of the cog and then slide it on the shaft. Yeah, the most critical thing is putting the gear on the shaft without getting any glue in the wrong places and not getting any glue on the teeth. I'm just going to use a very, very tiny drill to take some metal resin, metal fixing glue, dab it on there, put it on the cog, slide it on the shaft, and then for the motor, hold the motor into the plastic housing, I'm going to use some special super glue for that. So, motor's glued in place. All I need to do now is cut the green and blue wire. What I'm gonna do is solder those directly to the motor. I'm not having any other extra joined wires if possible. And the brown one's going to be redundant for the time being. And that is it. Hopefully this should power up, but I might have to take out this old lens decoder here. I'm not sure whether that'll work with Coreless motors. I don't know. I might have to swap that out, put in a Locksound V4 or V5, sorry, a Lock Pilot, or a more modern lens decoder. I think you can just adjust it on the CVs and see whether it works or not. CV51 equals 0, CV52 0, and CV54 has got to equal between 30 and 50 for a Coreless motor to work. So we'll see what happens anyway. I've decided to extend the wires just for maintenance, for ease of maintenance in the future, so I can take the motor right out without snagging anything. So I've got extended wires now. Right, there's one thing I forgot to mention when installing the wires onto the motor, is to install them so the wires come down from 12 o'clock and join onto the terminals. Don't join them on so the wires go horizontal, go vertical with the wire connectors, otherwise the swing on the bogie will interfere with the wiring connections onto the motor if you do it any other way. I made a mistake and I put them on horizontally, but I had to bend them. I just bended the wires back in on themselves towards the centre of the motor. And brought the wires up to 12 o'clock, and if you don't do that they just bind on the metal casing, on the metal chassis. So that's just another point I thought I'd mention that anyway, so I forgot to mention that. Right, so there we go. All installed and working Lock Pilot V5, updated with the firmware and adjusted to work with the Coreless motor. Adjusted the function mapping so to get the lighting to work correctly forwards and backwards. That's all done. You do that on function mapping, and yeah, it's all working. Oh, a whole lot quieter and smoother. You can barely hear it. Just the gearing. That's running nice and smooth. And for the decoder settings, for the driving characteristics, if you go to motor menus, select motors and drop down right to the bottom, you'll see Coreless motor with small diameter. Set that and it'll automatically set all the settings up for it. Write it to the chip and it'll work perfectly with that particular Euro motor design which I've installed. It should work with all the other motors as well. So that's really nice. And the speed curve, I've just put a gradual speed curve on there, so it starts up nice and smoothly and stops smoothly. So that is it really, all done and dusted on this model. Yeah, I just need to trim the wires, put the body back on. Got the option to upgrade it again to Lockdown 5 or what to in the future, but I know that motor works really smoothly now. The other option, which I done on this particular loco, had a really noisy motor as well. This type of electric class 101, this had a really noisy motor as well, and I upgraded that with a Coreless motor. But I had to chamfer away a lot of machine, the actual steel work to get that motor in. It's a lot more difficult to do on this particular type of motor, which is from, see if I can get it up, SB models. The Porsche motor for it, you've got to chamfer away, like I say, to get that motor in. I think that motor is a really high quality motor though. £67.50 for that particular motor. It's in the sale at the moment, and then you got to obviously pay no import duty on that if you're just buying one motor. As long as it's below £135, you won't pay any import duties because this company is from Germany. It's a very good company, I've used them many times before. But Peter's Spares also do the Coreless motor, Micromotor.eu, for this loco which I've just done. And that motor I paid £39.75, but if I go to buy another one, that price has jumped up to £44.75, so it's jumped up quite a bit. Jumped up nearly £5 for some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, they're sort of slightly cheaper than importing from SB models motors. And the install guide for putting this motor in, if you go to the actual proper site, the install instructions are on YouTube, and they're only very basic instructions. They just give you the basics, but I've given a bit more detail on that, I think, on this video. So that is it. That is it for now, and that's another one done until the next motor, the next loco. Right, so it's running around with the train. It's still a noisy loco because of the gearing on it, but it's running a lot smoother and it's running a lot quieter than what it was anyway, so to me it's worth the upgrade.